All right, let's get a move on. And we've got an exciting discussion on IP to market. Dare to dream big. The journey of taking an intellectual property to market is one of the most challenging parts for an entrepreneur, especially in the highly regulated therapeutic area. ImmunoAct, which is born out of research in the bioscience and bioengineering department at IIT Bombay, has evolved into a promising initiative that is addressing some of the most pressing issues in cancer treatment. Their patented CART cell therapy aims to reduce mortality rates and take gene therapy and make it more accessible. In this discussion, we will be joined by Professor Rahul Purvar, a pioneer in cancer immunotherapy whose groundbreaking work in skin immunology and cancer treatments is shaping the future of medicine. Alongside him is Ms. Peony Bhatt, who has closely supported ImmunoAct's journey from its inception to its successful launch, serving as both a mentor and a partner. Together, they will be talking about the inspiring journey of how they dare to dream big and bring an innovative solution to the market. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Professor Rahul Purvar as well as Ms. Peony Bhatt, and as they dive into their remarkable journey.
Yeah, so it's good to be here once again. I think this conversation is going to be more of an extension of the previous conversation, entrepreneurial capital, translation research, and all those stuff. Uh, uh, so, like, this is the story of actually, a company in healthcare sector research started at IIT Bombay and then got spun out, and now it basically already on at a growth stage. But if you look at it, like, in last 10 years, like, healthcare sector has seen the pretty much good growth in number of the companies, mainly in like, wearable health tech or devices or AI-based diagnostics and telemedicines and so on and so forth. All of them are using actually innovations to address two key aspects. One is like affordability, another is accessibility. So like you bring innovation, and how do you introduce innovation, and how do you bring down the cost of, say, diagnosis from 1500, 2000 to 200 or so, or how do you bring down the medicine cost from 100 rupees to 10 rupees. So there are large number of companies addressing those issues, and it's a really great for them also, because it covers a large, or it impacts a large segment of the society, making healthcare more affordable and accessible. But here is the case, like, case of like research, which was very high magnitude of problem, very risky research, and the problem of 5 crore. So how do you bring 5 crore therapy at the cost of 20 to 30 lakhs? And that's a magnitude we are talking about. Also, when we look at our own startup landscape, there aren't too many therapeutic companies. Rahul, I don't know, except yours, any other therapeutic companies are there in the country. So that is another thing. And third thing is that this is a company, even at 5 crore, this therapy was not available, and they made it accessible in India. So this is a story from IIT Bombay, and the person who led this research to startup is Professor Rahul Purvar. I don't know now, it's professor or doctor or just Rahul entrepreneur. I don't know about that. But so once, first of all, Rahul, can you just, I think many of in the audience know you, but know ImmunoAct also, but just to set the context, what is ImmunoAct? What is CAR-T19 platform? How does it compete with other technology when it comes to cancer, and compete in India as well as like internationally, just to set a context?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Poini, for a comprehensive introduction and having me here, all the SINE team. Thank you so much. So first of all, Immuno Act is actually born based on the research I have been doing at IIT Bombay. As Poini said, we have been working on a problem which was actually a huge problem because the gene therapy which we are working on, it was not available in India. If you see cell and gene therapy map of the world, India was nowhere. Many diseases which can be cured by cell and gene therapy, they were not available. For example, if you take example of cancer, cancer is generally treated by chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, or the max is immunotherapy. But these modalities, they are very, very helpful and they are working very well, but they are not having intent to cure. Gene therapy is something which can cure cancer and many, many diseases. And the only one reason why this gene therapy is not available or was not available until recently, the cost. Cost of the gene therapy is the cheapest gene therapy cost is 5 crore rupees, as Poini mentioned. It goes from different platform of gene therapy can cost up to 20 crore rupees per patient. Now, now imagine all of us can appreciate any medicine or any product or any therapy that costs 5 crore to 20 crore rupees. Majority of us will not be able to afford. And that's the reason why company doesn't come to India to sell these therapies, because there will be no buyer. And that's the reason we don't have access to these platforms. So what I say is there is a need in this part of the world because we have a lot of people. Our population is huge, so we have huge number of patients. But technology is somewhere else, where there's not too many patients, but they have the technologies. We have too many problems, so there's a need gap here. And this is what we wanted to address. And only way we can bring these affordable medicine of from 5 crore to 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, or 20 crore to 20 lakhs. Only way we thought is possible is we have to develop in-house. We have to have our own IP. Unless we have our own IP and unless we control the entire value chain from manufacturing till the market, we will not be able to bring cost down by more than 90%. So this is what we have done at IIT Bombay in collaboration with Tata Hospital in Mumbai. We developed the product in the lab at IIT Bombay Bioscience and Bioengineering Department, where I am faculty member. Once we realized that we have the product, then we started clinical trials, we validated it, and we will discuss more about it.
Yeah.
But finally, the idea was that Immuno Act today has the IP-driven company and brought a very good medicine which is really working very well at affordable cost.
So, the current therapy can cure what kind of cancers? There are so many types of cancers.
So, before I go to which cancer it can cure, the best thing what we have done is we have developed a platform of the gene therapy platform. Based on the gene therapy platform, our first product is out. And the first product is called NextCar 19. And this NextCar 19 in detail is called CAR T cell therapy. But CAR T cell therapy, current one is for the leukemia and lymphomas. And these are all B cell blood cancer for the general layman language, you can call them blood cancers.
Yeah, sure. So, Rahul, Immunoact was around 2018, right? And your therapy got commercialized in 23. So it's like 5 years you have a drug literally coming out of this, in the market. But I think a lot has gone before that also, right? When actually you started this?
Yeah. So I came to IIT Bombay in 2013 November, so just 11 years ago. And so we started our research from 2014 onwards. Although the time in the AI ML world, it may look like a long time for 10 years in the therapy or drug development, but I can tell you this is the shortest period one can ever get a drug to the market where it was developed. So, because many of you may be engineers, so 10, 11 years may look long, but other places, for example, they also took around 15 to 20 years. The first product came in, let's say, 11 years, but now we are going to start maybe in a month time, clinical trial of our second product, which is, I think, that is like pivot, really a very inflection point in our journey. Now, for the first time, we will not be only one product company. And the second one is coming. I think this is a very exciting time.
Yeah, great. So 2013 or 14, you started research. At that point of time, you didn't know Immunect is happening, right? When was the time you started thinking about commercialization? Or when was the time you felt that my technology is fairly de-risked and it's good to go to basically commercialization? Both the time tallied, or your commercialization was already in your head and then it could have worked, it could not have worked also?
It's a complicated question, and there are many questions in it. So, I think first question is, at what time I thought this has a commercial potential, or that I did not think, but what I thought, at what time my research can translate to the clinic, when my lab research can see or patient can get benefit. I think that's what I was thinking. And that's what I thought somewhere around 2017 or 18. So to take our research lab or lab research to the clinic, there is a huge jump. And so many things are needed to take lab-based research, especially of this sort of work, which is really, really very complex. And this is not the one-man show then anymore. Then you need a lot of team. A big team is required.
Also partners.
Partners are required. And then partners you are required from different domain. You require partners who can fund your work, who can give you regulatory advice. Then you need clinical partner. Then you need CROs for running the clinical trial. So many things were needed. And that's the time I started reaching out to the bigger players. So idea was that let us give this lab research to a industry partner who can take this, because industry has like ecosystem, right? They have the funds, they have ecosystem, they have done in past, so they can take it. But unfortunately or fortunately today, it did not happen, because the type of work we have been doing, this is gene therapy, as I said, none of Indian pharma has experience in it. Although we have very established pharma players, but they do not work in this cell and gene therapy area. So they do not understand what is cell and gene therapy. First, they don't understand. Then second is, cell and gene therapy cost huge money. So in West, it was coming $1 million treatment. And neither our pharma player nor their advisors who advise them to fund research, they could understand that how IIT Bombay lab research work at this level, like you are talking about $1 million treatment, right? Yeah. It's a lot of money. So that ecosystem was missing that time.
Absolutely. It's not only $1 million, of money for treatment. In fact, to bring research to this level, like there was a huge risk at every stage. Technology risk, product risk, clinical trial risk, regulatory risk. Everything is ready, but patient results are not coming up. So whatever you have done, everything is basically, invest. The thing is that, you mentioned that industry were not equipped to do that, but suppose they were to be ready, whether licensing would have been a better approach, or because every stage also you require tens of crores of money, and you as an entrepreneur you didn't have credibility if you really look at it. Yeah. So how what would have been your basically preference, whether licensing or startup?
Yeah. So as a faculty member, our first thing is always to license it to someone, because we are very comfortable in our labs and teaching students. So this was our comfort zone, right? You license to somebody and then somebody take it to the market. But in my case, unfortunately, it was not possible, or it was not becoming possible, because I knocked almost all the doors possible of major pharma giants. Unfortunately, I could not convince anybody at that time that they can take the product to the market. And rightly so, there's nothing heavy feelings about them, but because there was, as you rightly said, there was no regulatory pathway in India. India did not have any regulatory pathway until 2020 for cell and gene therapy. They just came. So what I say in joke, that we did not make cars, but we also made the roads, because we made regulatory framework with the government help. We brought the funds in cell and gene therapy space. We made our own CAR T cell. So still I am de-risking many things. We have de-risked regulatory, we de-risk funding mechanism, we de-risk the market entry, because there was a time when people were thinking, who will buy the product which cost 50 lakhs rupees? And this is to our surprise that people are buying it. We have treated almost 300 patients in very short time. Then people were thinking, yeah, thank you. People were thinking that logistic will be a huge challenge in our country. The cryo logistics. You talk to anybody, they will say, how will you send your product to like thousands kilometers away from here? And that's what Europe is struggling. That's what Europe is struggling with, the logistics. So they said, how will you solve in India? Your logistic is very poor, and then you have got this 35-degree temperature. To our surprise, anywhere from our country, this is beauty of our country, 24 hours it takes, the product reaches to the hospital. And within 15 additional minutes, product is infused into the patient. So logistic is working nicely right now. So we are de-risking, and there's so many risks. Again, we have to de-risk, but that's actually entrepreneurial journey. Like, you have to not worry about the risk. Risks are there, but you have to just continue, follow things, right?
Yeah, sure. So, faculty entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Challenges that came your way, dilemma that came your way, top 3 challenges, and I don't know how many faculty entrepreneurs are here in this room, whether they can relate to the same thing or not. Yeah.
Faculty entrepreneur. See, as a faculty member, as I said, we are very, very comfortable in our domain. IIT Bombay, again, provide an excellent environment and ecosystem in our this little 600 hectare campus or acre campus. So we are very happy in our environment. But and good part about IIT Bombay is it also, like SINE, for example, when you were here, the ecosystem is there where a faculty research can be translated into a company or industry-like setting. So IIT Bombay, I would say this is one of the best culture what we have here, that we give a platform to a faculty member to develop the industry or to found a company and then continue with it. So challenges wise, there are of course challenges of what are the difficulties going to be. Like in my case, if you see cell and gene therapy, there's so many risks on each step. How I will overcome those risks, especially when there's no precedence of cell and gene therapy in the country. For example, other industry, other startup, you see, somebody has done similar type of work before. We were the first one who, in fact, we are the first one who are doing this type of work for the first time. Even government doesn't know this kind of work. Even there's no information you can get from anywhere. Wherever we go as a to the regulatory agency, they say first you teach us, then we will review it. So I go and give the lecture to the inspectors, and then they send me they review my application. So it's a very difficult situation. So those were the bigger challenges, that because we are first entering in the market as a first person. So those challenges were bigger, but faculty to entrepreneur transition was only with the mindset. how you come with the government and this nice surrounding in Mumbai, right? We are living in campus. How to come out of this and then go and face the world. The world outside is very, very different, very, very competitive. You have to convince people to get things done. And this was the major challenge.
Yeah, so I think previous session also we understood like there was a discussion on the mindset. You know, in my experience, basically, many faculty members, when I was with SINE and I had interacted with them, major thing, most of them didn't want to lead from the front. They wanted to lead from peripheral. And that's perfectly okay. If you are like, just going to play a role in like IP side or technology side or product side, that's perfectly okay. But they also wanted to like, continue like consulting, doing other project, doing another like, new way of research and all those things. And issue as a incubator we had is that how much commitment you have vis-a-vis your startup when you do multiple things. Yeah. In your case, that was not major issue because this was the one thing. And there's also another faculty startup that we have, which is like now 600 crore kind of company. Only one thing, the thing is that this is one thing they wanted to do. Another thing is that they wanted to continue on publishing and all those things because they didn't want to sacrifice their like professorship and all those things. Did you have those kind of dilemma? कि अभी मेरा professor का क्या होगा?
Yeah. So that's where I think SINE and people like you, for example, on a lighter note helps. So when I was having those kind of dilemmas, I remember conversation, in fact, with you, and Poini said, you are a professor. What else you have to lose? If you fail, you come back as a professor, right? You are Master G, right? You are Master G anyways, right? Those kind of comfort, I think, as a SINE or as a SINE head, we get sometime, and that helps us to lose our little bit comfort zone or to come out of our comfort zone and go into the field and do whatever we are doing. So that really helps to the faculty member to transition into entrepreneur. And your second question was that, what was this?
Full commitment.
Full commitment. See, being entrepreneur, I think unless you are 100% committed, in our country at least I can't see that you will succeed. You have to give 100% because the ecosystem is developing. It is not fully mature. So there are many systems which are, again, everything is evolving. We are a country which is growing rapidly and doing great, but system still need to be mature. And to navigate in our ecosystem, you have to be 100% committed to one goal. If you are not, I don't see like you can succeed. Then,
So another thing is that like, when you started, you didn't have complete team or well-rounded team. So what is well-rounded team? Like we say, technical person, market-facing person, someone who is taking care of finance and operation and all those things. In your team, only you and Atharva were there, right? And it took quite a while for you to get a co-founder. And I remember our conversation because we would have discussed at least half a dozen of co-founder, and we started eliminating why this, not this, at a different point of time. How did you go about getting the current co-founder? And what were exactly you were looking into that current co-founder?
See, the major challenge what we were facing is convincing the investors or convincing the strategic partners to collaborate with us that we can do it. And this was the major challenge, that how we convince the people. And convincing was very difficult because there was no example, as I said. We were the first one who is doing. So investor has no idea what is cell and gene therapy. And when you tell them this product costs $1 million, 8 crore rupees per patient, many just leave you. And rightly, because India that time, when almost 10 years ago, majority of the research was happening how to bring 1000 rupees injection to 100 rupees injection. Our entire thought process was low cost means 10 rupees, low cost means 5 rupees, like that. And when you tell somebody, I am making $1 million treatment and bringing cost to 30 lakhs. So they rightly
Still
laugh at
30
you.
lakhs, right?
Right? 30 lakhs and $1 million treatment, IIT Bombay lab research. If a few people even got little convinced to come and see us, they see $1 million, this 1,000 square feet, you are going to make it. Very good. You make it, we will come back. That was the bigger challenge. So I was thinking how to get a team in place who can convince people that yes, we can do it. So we put a small team, co-founder, we got Shirish, and then other people as well. Then one of the major thing we learned during our investor discussion was the regulatory aspect and the clinical trial. So we thought, let us get enough money so we can clear the regulatory first. So that let us remove the hurdles what investors sees as a hurdle. So first we get regulatory paperwork set. Once our regulatory filing was okay, then we approached the regulator, got our phase 1 cleared. This gave the lot of people confidence that yes, these guys are not just talking, that they are doing research at IIT Bombay, this team, that team. They are really serious about it. That gave them phase 1, of course, it has to go in human first. That was, again, another de-risk point. But at least this gave them confidence they have enough good, well-packaged, well-rounded research work, dossier, which can lead to the clinical phase 1 clinical trial. I think, but this took us almost 3 years to convince and to get this thing sorted out.
Right. And it's 3 years just to get a co-founder, right? And like we are also in parallel talking about going to market, regulatory and all. So you spoke to many things, but try to help me. I'm a faculty entrepreneur, or I'm a faculty here. I think I have a research which is worth $100 million business. How do I go about it step by step?
You are a faculty member. You have 100 million.
If you don't believe, pick up any faculty here.
Yeah.
But
No, I will not put anybody on this thing. And you have $100 million business. Why 100? We can have better, right?
I believe that it has 100. My research has that much worth.
Yeah.
And I want to start.
So first of all, you should not give that low number because we have done it and we are still feeling sometimes bad about it. Because again, the valuation is something we don't understand. So we just few times we see few crores, we get excited about it. Then later we feel this was nothing, right? So don't put number first. But what you have to do first, see, I think Dr. In the previous session, he mentioned, you have to find out who are your users. And is your product is worthy for those users when they are going to use it. So think about your users, think about your product quality. I think as a professor, our strength is we can make the best product or we can provide the best services. That's our strength. I think first at our home, we should make the best product. Once you have the product, then invest in your team who can deliver other things. I think that's where probably my strength was. I could delegate the finance. Rajat is here. We could find him from Delhi. We brought him here. We have Shirish, who is good in business. We have other people. Laura's team is sometimes also help us a little bit. But we brought regulatory folks who do regulatory. We brought Tata Hospital, which is one of the best in the country in cancer research, Dr. Hasmukh and Dr. Gaurav. They do clinical trial. So we put a team together. And then we brought one of the pioneers. So CAR-T, gene therapy, is actually developed by the Carl June. Carl June is the father who is in the University of Pennsylvania. So 8 years back when I went to US, I got his appointment. I drove from Boston to UPenn and I explained him what I do. After 1.5 hours, he said, looks like you will make it. There's the only line. He said, looks like you will make it. I again drove back to Boston, and I came back. I said, I have to do it now. I think he also finds the research is whatever I am doing on the right track. And then he offered me that if you ever need my help, although I have given product to Novartis, but ever you need my help, he will be happy to help. So now you know he's in our advisory board as well. And the another thing what I will tell faculty members and the any students, ask for the help. I think don't restrict yourself in very few people. I think reach out to many people. You will find support. People are willing to help if you ask for it.
Right. So I also recall like Immunoact, when it was set up, you needed about like how much? 7-8 million? Yeah. Just technology, no background. It could go anywhere. Regulatory is not done, and 7-8 million, right? How did you solve that piece? I think that would be very interesting. Money is always
I will not name it. I will just tell you this thing because you brought the millions. When we wanted to do it, our vision was so small. We were asking for 1 or 2 million only. Right? 2 million we were asking, and we are ready to give everything. Then that company, just because you said it, so we were asking hardly 70, 80 CR company and all this. Then the similar that company, they did not give us, invested in us in 80 crore. They did not invested in us. They lost in 250 CR. They lost 800 CR. 6 months later, they lost 3,000 CR. So these are like good thing is recently they again lost 3,000. So faculty member, just I think make a team, do it, and think it through before you commit anything. Yeah.
No,
So
I think I'm going to take liberty for additional 2 minutes here because this is very important. I think generally successes are always visible, celebrated. Samir mentioned in previous session, right? Entrepreneurs have more lows than highs. Like, you have your own phase quickly because time is up. Yeah, I'm still taking 2 minutes, I said. Yeah, time is, yeah.
see, there will be lows, and there will be lots of lows, and many lows you have.
What were your lows?
See, my lows were too many. I don't know which. So right from in the product development, you have the product prototype development. There, when something doesn't work,
We
you
have to go fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When something doesn't work, you have to go back to a product.
Right.
First thing you have to do, you have to make the best product, as much best you can do in that time. Then regulatory laws were too many because there was no pathway. So as I said, there was no road. We have to make the road. Then investors laws and the strategic. So when PE VCs were out from our discussion because they really don't understand. But who was understanding? Strategic. So strategic, we were talking, then they said they work in pharma, but they don't know anything about cell and gene therapy. And this is not and in India, it's all about business innovation. So if you see entire pharma or industry, it's business innovation. There's nowhere you see product innovation. And they are good at business innovation. They make billions in it. But here it's something we were doing product innovation. So that laws were there because I was unable to convince them, right? So their investors, strategic were out. And then finally it was market. And the product we were making, we were saying we will make in $50,000, right? $50,000, where is your TAM SAM thing, right? So those were all the laws we had. But now you know the story is different. Right?
So final question. Rahul, in next 2 years, is he going to be a faculty or is he going to be an entrepreneur? Full-time entrepreneur?
In last 2 minutes, Poini wants to screw my life, right?
Last question, I
Especially
said.
in IIT.
So is IIT going to lose you?
Let us keep it suspense so that you call me next time and then I'll answer it.
Yeah. Great story, Rahul.
Thank you so much.
Path you take. All the best to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A great story indeed, an inspiring one on how to dream big and really bring an innovative solution to market. Let's welcome on stage Pranita Pathak, who's joining in to give a small token of appreciation on our behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, it was such a candid and wonderful conversation, so request you all to please give a round of applause.